Started the streaming. The stupid chair. Live, and we'll see. We get someone in. And it's Robert and the people around the corner. Ed. We're doing that play, name that tune again, but this time I played it rough. Hey, Joshua's in there, Robert's in there, and if I look around the corner, I still can't tell. Another day in life. It's actually nice today. It is, drum roll, 101. So, next Sunday, it's supposed to be 79. It's supposed to be 99 tomorrow, so it's supposed to drop 20 degrees in the next 7 days after tomorrow. So, we have an older crowd, so this might be one if someone's thinking. Anybody leaving? There should be some familiarity in there. See if anyone's getting close. Well, Bobby's in here. Let's see. Marley here. Missed a few Fridays, and he's there. KJ7. I said Josh. Susan's there. Robert's there. Sounds like some Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin. That's one band. Stairway to Heaven. I think that goes more like. Yeah. So, much different than this, but at least you're trying. Almost late, says Glenn. You're never late. Tony, Heart of Gold. I don't know if that even works. Chuck here from Oregon. Yeah, I picked a particularly hard one. I thought Space Lord was pretty good and all that, but I thought let's get one. Let's go deep this week. Something that we're not going to hear on the radio. But it was a popular song. It once was played on the radio, I'm sure. So, we'll go roll a little here. I'm here. And Bobby says, clear water. Born ignorant and been losing ground. 80s and Aquanet. So we'll try it again. I think I'm playing it pretty well. Going to be 75. I think it came out. Came out in 75. If you heard the song live, it was much longer live than the studio version. So that would be probably, without literally starting to give it away, the clue there. But nobody's really even gathering a clue. An Alvarez 6 and 12 string, and there's Glenn. I know the band. Well, yeah. Usually, the song would be better if you have the band. You're gonna know it, and it's not Marshall Tucker. No. Hi, Wayne. Happy days. Another great night with Superstition Mountain. Love your show. Thank you much. Keep the entertainment on Friday nights. James Taylor. James Taylor. I don't think everybody will feel terrible. Okay, we'll do something else briefly. This will throw the people that join in while we're doing this. So it'll throw them completely off. Oops, messed that up. Little faster than it should be played. I'm playing it faster than that one should go. There's 2 songs. Oops. Trying to hear. That's some Eric Clapton shit. No, it's not Eric Clapton. The second one's not Eric Clapton. It's older than the first one, but I thought everybody get this one. Okay, we'll do the first couple of words. So the first song starts. I think it's When She. Okay, so it's she. Think. Second one, wise men. So we'll use it 2 words, but wise men. This is rough. Okay, hello, Queen Creek. Can't help falling. Ed got, well, that second one at least. Yes, can't help. Wise men say. Only fools rush in. Man. Okay, so at least he jumped. She talks to angels now. Velvet Underground. Nah, in fact, Bobby, it was a funny thing the other night. I was thinking of, everyone should think of 5 bands that they don't really own anything by, and they cannot stand under any circumstances. And if they come on the radio, they'll just turn the radio off. Just like, nope, that's not happening in this vehicle. And Lou Reed and the Velvet Underground is one of those bands. I cannot listen to Lou Reed. I cannot listen to anything by Lou Reed. I don't get it. It does not. That I can always say, oh, there's this song by this. Oh, I get their artistry. I get he's a really good singer, but I really don't like the band. There's some bands, some musicians that you just do not get. And I remember having this conversation with someone once, and I've always thought about it. It's like, what is it? And I've always tried to listen to those bands because I love Steve Hunter and Dick Wagner, who played with the Velvet Underground and Lou Reed. And I don't get it because I love their playing. I love most of the guys in the band. I just cannot stand Velvet Underground. I cannot stand Lou Reed. Don't see it. Don't get it. I don't know. So, and they weren't very successful. They never sold any records. Lou Reed never really sold any records. If you get Walk on the Wild Side Out of the Way, which was maybe a top 20 hit, top 30, that was it for him. Another band that was completely unsuccessful, but because of the video age you always think they were, was the B-52s. B-52s, outside of Love Shack, couple songs that didn't even make the top 5. They weren't. They have one album, and most of their music did not sell. They did not chart that high. They didn't have #1 albums. None of it. And if I hear them come on the radio, I will turn the radio off. They're another band. So there's 2 right there that I just don't get at all because I don't see any musical, anything I'd want. You want to hear a third? I don't know if anybody wants to hear a third because I'm probably killing some people's favorite bands maybe in there. I came for the Dutchman but stayed for the tunes. Only Fools in the Superstition this summer. That could be true, but Only Fools Rush In. Do some Judas Priest. No, see, Glenn, you blew it. You blew it, Glenn. Because you know what the thing is? The rule is, if I had a set list and you call it out, it comes off the set list. Because I made a rule. I said, I don't have to be paid to play guitar, but if someone wants me to play something, I have the right to take it away. Got to be a jerk somehow, right? Okay. Let's drink to Bob Ward. There we go. See, there we go. We go to Bob Ward. I'm way back here. I just wanted Warhol's approval. Sorry, lots of laugh. Yeah. So, here, we'll see if anybody chimes in because these bands drive them nuts. Another band that had one album that did well, but wasn't even, I think, a top 10 album. See, I'm getting choked up about it all. But and I don't think they even had a top 10 single. They might have had one single in the top 10, but they never had a hit album. They really never had a #1 hit. Nothing even close. And that band's the Talking Heads. And if I hear the Talking Heads come on, if I hear David Byrne's voice, I tried to listen and understand it. I cannot. And I can't. I just will turn it off. I'll just tell someone, I'll walk out of this car at 75 miles an hour if you don't turn that shit off. So, and everybody has those, But yeah, it's just, to me, it's like I don't get what people want. So we drank the Bob Ward. We got that out of the way. So, and hopefully we got Andy Warhol's approval in this. Here's to Swimming with Bow-Legged Women. I never swam. Queensryche. No, that one was Queensryche. First song I was doing, second one obviously was Ed Got Right. But the first song I was doing was a song written by a man named Richard Hughes Blackmore. And sang, and the lyrics were written by a man named Ronald James Dio. And it was a band called Rainbow. From Richie Blackmore's Rainbow. And it was a song called Catch the Rainbow. Went deep. See, and now next week I can pick something from the 90s, early 2000s to throw everybody off. Greetings, Wade, from Gil Gold Prospecting, San Antonio, Texas, where every day is a golden day. How about those tourists stuck in the mine? Close call. Didn't know anybody. Great one. So, yeah, I always try to pick something off the wall. The Elvis one was one I just like. You like, there's 4 or 5 songs you just like. They're simple chord changes, and you just like them. And they're not that much different from each other. The rhythms are different, but yes. So that is one of the few Elvis songs I like to play. So there's always one from somebody. I was never a big Elvis Presley guy. I was always a Chuck Berry kind of guy, and blues, B.B. King and Robert Johnson and stuff. And so same thing went with a lot of the early 60s stuff. I liked the Yardbirds, and I liked John Mayall, and I liked, The Who and bands like that. I liked the Stones, but I was never a Beatles fan. And the funny thing is, I will recognize and say, yeah, absolutely, the songwriting is just elite, master craftsman. And the way that George Martin made them sound and arrange those things is incredible. But you can tell by their solo careers that just nothing came close to what they did collectively because of the people around them and so forth. But no, I was never, I didn't own any Beatles albums. I finally got those red and blue double albums that had all the big hits, and that's when I discovered most of the Beatles stuff. And I was probably 15 or 16 because they weren't playing Beatles much outside of maybe Let It Be or Hey Jude. They weren't playing it much on the radio. That was the oldies station, Cool FM. They didn't play Beatles on what I was listening to. So they played Zeppelin. They played The Who. So I always heard The Who. And I don't know why the Yardbirds were such a deal. It had to do or something. Ola. Hey, Dallas. How's it going? So, Procol Harum. No, it was Rainbow, Richie Blackmore's Rainbow, Catch the Rainbow. And then the second one, if you didn't get it, I don't know, Ed got it and nailed it pretty quick, and so we kind of let that kind of go and talked about that. But Can't Help Falling in Love with You. So, but that's a good song. That's a good song. See, there's songs that you gotta sit there and say, I'm not a big, huge fan. I'm not the person, but, there's sometimes songs that you're just like, man, they're so well done. They're great tunes. So, that would be The Who for me. So, rock and roll. So, okay, we're done with that. But if you play with it, crank it up. Well, I don't know how it would sound on this mic and stuff. So, the amp is right here beside me. But, yes, I've not done that yet. We'd have to test run to see where my volumes on the amp would be because we're just using this microphone and we're not plugging this in at all. And it comes through pretty well. It could be too much in the room. So, and I don't know if the microphone would resist it a bit, start popping or having a problem. I was asking about Procol Harum, if you like them, Whiter Shade. I like the song. I was never... That was, Procol Harum was the one that Robin Trower was in early. So I'd say I'm okay with them. I got a few albums by them, but I liked Robin Trower more. So, Bridge of Sighs is a great album. So I liked Robin Trower a lot. He's still around. So, hey, Rocky. Yeah, you'd be good to stay back there. Okay. So... Is Whitlow Canyon road still closed? I don't know. You have to go out. I don't think they've been really too honest or very clear on the closures. I just kind of stayed out unless I had business. Blessings to all. Happy to be here with you. Trying to catch who's all coming in as we're doing this stuff. I'm not always calling out names directly as people are jumping in. Have you talked to Clay Worse? I haven't talked to Clay, but I talked to Shu. Shu gets over and talks to Clay every week. Spends some time talking to him. He's doing all right. So doing the best he can for his age and his health issues. So this year was very quiet. I just kind of worked. Sometimes it's with the drive time in between. I'll call and talk to some people, and I talked to a couple people this week, but it was no one. I wouldn't say notable because anyone you speak to, it's important, whatever you're having to discuss. But it was no one that, in the general feeling of things, people would think was very important. It was just some chit chat and some stuff about the rendezvous. I really like some Dylan. I heard Frank really likes Bob Dylan. I don't know. I heard he also likes disco and Donna Summer. I don't know. I've never played any of that stuff, and he's never requested or never much of anything. I don't know. So I have no idea what he listens to. Have you been back to Lynx Creek lately? Damn, that place really overworked. Nah, Woody's up there all the time. He's always working their various sections of Lynx Creek, so I know Woody's always up in there and doing stuff. But that's all I know. So I haven't been up there. I didn't. Yeah. This summer, it was just I kind of got myself in a position where normally you think I'd run up, make a couple visits to Woody and stuff. It was a hot summer everywhere, but I didn't get up there like you would think I would. Can we stop by McDonald's? We stop by those all the time. That's like the favorite thing when we come out. Frank goes, "You want anything, Frank? I'm buying." No. Give me a Diet Coke and a fries. I'll take a fry. He likes French fries. He'll eat French fries. He likes a lot of salt on them. If they're really salty, he'll eat the whole thing. If they're not very salty, he doesn't eat that many. So there you go. Frank likes salty fries. But the rendezvous coming up and everything hopefully falling into place. I'm starting my backup plans because we're a couple weeks out, which backup plans are, okay, what do we do when people start backing out or don't show as far as guest speakers and certain things? And so I know 3 that are positive. There's a 4th I'm pretty sure of, a 5th that I'm pretty damn sure of. So I think we're pretty good, but then I'm trying to say, God, we almost got too much to do an alternative. My alternative was, since that'll be about the time it should be the official release, the 25th or 26th will be the official release of Sunsets. So since that'll be the official release, I was thinking, well, because it's about Dutch hunters and kind of the whole thing, but I think the film's an hour and 30, hour and 40 minutes. So that'd be too long to do some programs and then do it. That's a lot of time to sit out there. I don't know if that would work because you'd want a little intermission and that'd be a lot. So I don't know how exactly we'll work that in. Maybe start with a preview or something like we did before because it's different. The opening's different now. But yeah, we might do something like that for have an opening for it at the beginning. But yes, that will be it would have been the premiere, which would have been, I guess, right. But I think for the 20th anniversary, we'd want something more. It would have been much better for last year. So, but no, we're waiting to see the physical Blu-rays, DVDs to show up. So it should be arranged and the streaming should be set up. Trevor's should be this weekend working out the streaming details and everything with Amazon and hopefully iTunes, probably definitely Amazon and all, but I don't know what other market he's looking at, but he will be doing that. And then we're just hoping that the box, we're gonna get the first editions out, and then at the rendezvous the thought is to come out and then just do it so reduced, just so everybody gets a chance at one, rather than have to like order one or go somewhere else for a physical copy. Because we know sometimes people are going to buy the digital copy, but they like the physical copy. I'm one of those people. I have digital downloads on my phone, music, but I actually still own the CD and the album and the cassette. And in a few odd choices, I have the 8-track. Speaking of Bridge of Sighs, I have the Bridge of Sighs on all those formats. Play Sunsets Friday night. It's a long film, and I don't know if the crowd will be there. Everybody looks forward to the Friday night campfire. We've just got everything set up. Everybody ate. We gather around, have a fire. We just kind of kick it and stuff like that. Sometimes guitars break out, whether it's the Ramada or down in the main camp, my campsite. And it's generally been my campsite. That's kind of the Friday night, more laid back, and just sit up and do all that. I don't know, we might do the ghost hunt stuff too. But my favorite of all time is Bill Monroe and the Stanley Brothers. The Osborne Brothers are pretty good, and Flat and Scruggs. But anyway, let's talk treasure stories or spooky stuff. What are your feelings on Bias Butte area? I don't know. I've been out there, looked around, didn't find anything that I felt like. I know there was God. Who was it that was really into that area? I'm a newbie, didn't know all of this. Well, then you learn. Lust for Gold. I still have some. No, I got posters for Lust for Gold. I was trying to think if I have Legend of Superstition Mountain DVDs. We should have Sunsets DVDs. I don't have, or do I? Lust for Gold DVDs. I'm trying to think of what I got. Got so much crap. That's the problem. I got so much stuff. I don't know where anything is anymore. I'm gonna have to look and ask Trevor what I have for Lust for Gold, because I'm thinking I have one Blu-ray that I purchased, and I got a bunch of the posters. There's a very select few that are signed by everyone, including Rick Gwynn, everybody involved. Robert Kesselring, and everybody. Shoes, myself, and Feldman, but there's a handful of those left. But then the unsigned, I got a ton of those. I know where those are. I'm trying to think. I thought there was more stuff. I'll have to go out, and who knows what's out there. I'm bringing tequila this time. Can't handle the Fireball. There's always Coors Light for you. I'll have some. I'll send you some. Sky Cloud can only see or hear you once a week. Music I hear anytime. Make time. We ain't have time for song and dance. Bugging out. Chores to do. Hey, Sky Cloud. Sorry about that, but that was to give me something to do when I start the whole thing up and waiting for everybody to join in, because when we start there's only 4 or 5, maybe 1 or 2 sometimes people in the first 10 minutes, and that was just to give me something to do. And then I put the guitar down once I see everybody scrolls up and I see the numbers are popped up and people are here. So there we go. So Sky Cloud does not appreciate the guitar picking. Happy Friday, everyone. It's Miller Time Fireball. Dud. DVD. Okay. Well, everything's Blu-ray now. But someone did bring that up. I thought I had a bunch of Lust for Gold stuff, and I'm trying to think if there was a box of it where I would have put it. I know I have the posters and I have a banner. I don't know where anything else is. That's weird. I'll have to go look in the garage after we're done this evening, because I did think there was more than what I realize I can account for. But I got to go through and start pulling stuff out for the rendezvous anyways. So, but we got everything kind of lining up for the rendezvous, which will take precedence. It'll be, do you know if Salvador will be at the rendezvous? I left him a message, but I don't even have to tell him and he shows up for things, okay? We can purposely try to make sure Salvador does not show up and then he's sitting there waiting on us, okay? So we could make a plan and say, hey, let's meet here to do this. And we can do it via our cell phones and just text one another and tell no one. And when we show up, Sal's sitting there in a chair waiting for us. Why are you guys so late? So, no. Sal's kind of like that. So, no, Sal always shows up. So, Sal will be there. I am sure of it. We made it through the hurricanes. Well, there you go. And that's plural. So, there you go. But yes, we have Friday night, and there's a few areas that I'm going to try to have maps And I don't think you have to do this stuff at night. You can do this stuff during the day. But there's several sites and things we talked about last year. I'm interested in the people that think they know how to do the spooky stuff can go out and tell me what they think, because they're the areas that would make most sense. Positive thoughts of those struggling. A hurricane, my constant prayers are with you. I can't tell who it was because it's so far over. But anyways, so it's the 20th anniversary of the Rendezvous, and it's, I think, the 133rd anniversary of Jacob Waltz's death. So that'll be kind of like to the forefront a bit, and general curriculum of kind of covering some of what's been covered in the Rendezvous over the years. Like I said, I really tried to avoid the long one guest speaker for 90 minutes thing because I thought that was a little too much. The crowds changed. There was a time in the first 5, 6, 7 years we could have someone talk for 2.5 hours and everybody would sit politely, and it was someone they knew, and it really worked pretty good, even though everybody would afterwards be like, why did you let him talk so long? But times change, and Tom Collenborn got in my ear a lot and said, hey, you need to break it up, have 15-20 minutes and different people, and kind of keep it and go in between, and kind of like let the program breathe better, because he said it's a lot for everybody just to sit there and hear one person droning on, and it's just a lot of information to take in for that. But they're always there, so if they want to talk to them afterwards, there's plenty of time and room. And so I understood all that. So thank you to Tom for kind of suggesting that. I'm trying to think of who it was. I don't know who it was that finally got us convinced to move everything from Friday to Saturday nights to talk, because we used to do the talks on Saturday night. We used to do them Saturday nights, and then or Friday nights, and then we moved them to Saturdays because just the obvious, everybody's off Saturday most of the time, so everybody could make it Saturday. Friday was hard pushing it. So, but we'll do a little discussion about the Rendezvous for its 20 years and some other things, and it'll be kind of a over the years kind of like talking about the Rendezvous and the guest speakers and different people involved, so everybody will get a little something there. And like I said, if Trevor could put together, I don't know if there's such a thing as short version of sunsets, but yeah, we might open with some sunsets or something and a screening of it or something, or give everybody the opportunity. I just don't think everybody Friday night wants to sit and watch the whole of Sunsets. You'd rather own it or purchase it, and it's not going to be really expensive, so I think everybody would prefer that. Terry Carter, yeah, I talked to Terry. Terry said he'd try, but he couldn't make any promises. Terry's a busy man. He has his things that he has to show up and do, just like I do, and it's hard to break off to do other things. So we talked on the phone. I can't remember what the reason we were talking. It was about some other stuff. So, but yeah, 20th gathering. It would be cool to have all you guys from the show. The problem is getting everybody to want to do that. Someone raffles. There's some gold to be raffled off. There's two bags, not of gold, but there's 2 bags that have gold in them, and then there's a nugget. I don't know if anybody else has got any gold to raffle off, but yes, there is some gold to raffle off. So Dallas, that is in the pot. There's a few cool odd things in there too. So it should be an interesting raffle, different, and I'm having to, because of a couple of things, rethink the idea. One of the ideas will be that have things out and say, look, this is this and and we'll describe some of the things early in the program, maybe in between speakers, to introduce them as we're doing before we do the raffle. But if someone doesn't want this, we're going to let them come up and pick or make a choice, because there might be some people be like, I don't know, and you'll understand that fully when we do it. So so there is some gold. I know there's 2 bags, pay dirt. What do they call them? Pay dirt bags, whatever. 2 pay dirt bags out and sitting there, and then there's a nugget. I don't know what the nugget. I didn't even look at it. I know it's just there. So that's what we have. Anyone who wants to bring some 5-gallon containers. We probably need about 30 to 40 gallons of water. I got the trough down there. I refurbished one of the troughs from Gold Panning from the Dons. I have it down there, and we can pull it out and set it up, and we can load it up. And if anybody wants to pan anything out there, they used to dump the gold from Gold Panning because they used to use real gold up in the upper area. There is gold in the area, so it was poured out in the trough one year. They poured the buckets and the troughs out, and all the actual real gold went down the hill into the camp. So it's probably somewhere around there. Don't dig up the whole camp, though. It's not that much. Hope someone raffles off some gold. Okay, I'm caught up. So that's kind of where we're at. I was hoping a couple of people or a couple things we could confirm, but it's always like that. I mean, there was the one year that every guest speaker canceled. One of them, I won't say his name because I'm going to be cool about it, but yeah, he just decided not to leave the house and decided he wasn't going to be able to make it. And I know he wasn't feeling good, but it was weird. He didn't text or call or anything. I ended up calling him like an hour and a half before the program and found out our main speaker, who was going to talk for an hour and a half, hadn't left his house and wasn't coming. And I was like, oh, okay, let me get... And then he wanted to talk, and I'm like, no, I got to get off the phone because I got to figure... And we scrambled, and we came up with a pretty nice program that night. It was thrown together. It was tough. I literally went around the whole camp, found, I think, 5 or 6 people. Terry Carter was one of them. But I found 5 or 6 people just basically to say, can you give me 10 to 12 minutes? And that's what we did. We went around, and most everybody, the 10 or 12 minutes turned up to 15 or more. And we managed to put a program together. And we started talking and just kind of like worked it all out. So it worked out really nice. But yeah, the biggest problem with all that was, and that's happened a number of times. I think after this being the 20th rendezvous, we didn't have a guest speaker the first or the second. It was the third rendezvous. Randy and I put in the guest speakers. So that would be 16, 17 rendezvous. I would say about 50% of the time we've had to change things up because of cancellations. I'm not feeling good. I don't know. Okay. Did you go with Shoes to check out the Mexican mines in Hackberry? No, I haven't been out with Bob. It was too freaking hot. Bob's not going out there in that heat. No, we got some plans. We were on the phone earlier last week. So we got some plans. So Frank and I have some plans, and there's things planned. And hopefully this next week the weather drops. We get to the rendezvous, and then the weather's nice, and we can actually get out and do stuff. Wayne, love your stories. When is your next desert adventure? Will you do it live stream? We got stuff we filmed. We try to put it together so it kind of tells a bit of a story or has something you can follow. Just us randomly going, because there's a lot of times we're randomly out doing stuff and it doesn't really tie into anything else. And there's a few things I wanted to do and I've kind of built up. So that's why if you ever look at them, you can tell sometimes we are really close in what we're doing day to day or week to week, and then other times you can tell there's months have gone by or different times. This time, part of it is that it got warm. I can't remember. I think Frank wasn't feeling well and didn't want to go out, and that was fine. And we filmed some stuff, and then I realized we didn't have enough, and I'm not going to push it or just kind of contrive something. So we always film when we're out, and then we look at what we got, and then we see if there's something there that tells enough of a story or of interest to get something going. And then we try to say, okay, do we need to film something to kind of pull it together a little? And it's not story writing, it's just like to explain the story, like we did with the staircase. We had a plan, and we wanted to go out there several times, and we were able to build something up through a whole 12 episodes, which was nice. And that's your general thinking is to do that, and then other stuff gets put on the shelf, and then you think, well, we can always use that later, or go back and use it on Fridays or something. Who knows what Trevor has in the hard drives? Because I forget. Sometimes I turn to Trevor and I go, how much stuff do we got? Did you ever use this? Yeah, I used that a year ago. Okay. I just don't know what happened to the trips. And I know there's X amount of trips, and there's trips I make without anyone. I'm kind of on my own the whole time, and I don't really film. I've gotten a bad habit of back in the 80s, 90s, 70s version of myself that I don't even take pictures again. But yeah, when Trevor's with us, definitely we're filming. We tried me filming once. I filmed once, and we have that footage, but it's terrible. It was really windy. It's me and Frank, and we're out, and we were using the equipment, and we didn't have the Zoom and the lav mic set up, so the audio was just horrible. And then because we were looking for something, I didn't realize when you're physically looking for something, you're trying to do it in, you know, my point of perspective. It's terrible looking when I'm trying to film, because I'm more about looking for what I'm looking for than actually filming. And yeah, that footage, it's a far better story than film footage. Is Jack Carlson going to be there? I talked to Jack. I would hope so. I am still looking for that head carving at South Butte. I found the special gauntlet, the Apache gauntlet in cave, but can't find the heart carving. All right. So Jack should be there. When you get with Jack, get in good with him. Jack's a really good guy. One of the few people always picks up his phone for me. Always, it's like, Jack, you got a few minutes? Yeah, absolutely. I've never had him say, can you call me back, or can you give me a call later? I'm busy or whatever. Jack's always, we had really good conversations. He always tries to answer those questions. He always, if he doesn't have the answers, tries to tell me who to call and who else to talk to that might have the answers, or where I might find the answers. So always like Jack. Jack's very chill, very kind of laid back and stuff. So I don't know. He keeps getting older, and I keep getting older, and I don't catch up any. He keeps getting further out in front of me, so I don't understand how that's working. But one of those guys that really can move through the mountains and stuff, and has covered an awful lot of ground. So, but hopefully Jack will be there. He usually comes out just to hang out. He came out last year. He's usually, and like I said, I think Jack's pretty good about showing up at the rendezvous. I think the only time we had a problem with him showing up, and Elizabeth Stewart used to come out. Elizabeth used to be always out there too, quite a bit. The only time was COVID. When it was the year or two of COVID there, he kind of shied away from it and kind of avoided it. He was worried health reasons. And who's going to blame someone for that? So that was cool. Of course, we gathered and did our thing right through COVID. No one got sick. Well, we had our rendezvous, and then afterwards Woody went off and got COVID and almost died. But nobody, there was nothing happened about being there. Nothing to do with that. Okay, so Jack Carlson being there. Wow, the time flew by, didn't it? Yeah, it did. Anyways, well, that was that long musical interlude. Okay, so shorter on the opening music and quicker song. But see, you guys got to guess faster. I wouldn't have done 2 songs and taken as long if you guys guessed. So I got to find easier songs. Okay. So and the opening piece is just simply for something to do. I don't have a theme, or you don't need me here. Well, I don't know how that would work. Anyways. So the 20th of all the guys from the show, that's every year it's kind of placed out there. I don't know, this would have been around 10 years or so you would think, but DeLille came out to the rendezvous once or twice. I'm trying to think, once or twice. But DeLille's been there. Magnuson has never came. Woody's been out a number of times. Frank comes out, at least stops by every year. So that's, it is what it is. The funny thing is, I believe, there was the time that DeLille came down, and me, Frank, DeLille, and Woody got together briefly. The hard thing to think about is when we walked away, because they were planning on season 2, and we were still in touch and talking to each other, is that because you spend so much time around each other for, what was it, months on end, It's constant. You're in everybody's text. Everybody's in everybody's text. Everybody's in everybody's email. But it just, you quit hearing, and so I have to reach out, and so I reach out, and if I don't hear back, so I would think if I just quit calling people, I probably would still hear from Frank, and I hear from Woody now and then. Anyways, Woody calls me up out of the blue, but yeah, it's just everybody has their own lives, and we don't live in the same place necessarily. Frank and I are the closest, and I'm probably almost as close to Woody as I am to Frank in some aspects. So it's just not, it just doesn't work that way. And those guys, especially Magnuson and DeLille, they lost their jobs. So it's like they don't want to take those chances on certain things. If they said, let's go do season 2, we'd like you 5 guys to get together and do it, I'd really almost. Oh, I think that's Trevor. Trevor saying that he's. Yeah, Trevor. It's Trevor. But, yeah, I would think that, looking back all over it, I would tell the guys not to bother, because there's no guarantees. And as you get older, it's just too much to lose and not that much to gain, because you're not going to make that much money off that stuff. Nobody does. Of the 5 of us, I made the most, and that was, the show was geared towards me, and they felt like they really needed me. But it isn't anything that's going to change your life. Don't stop your guitar, please. It gets a mellow vibe. There you go. It's Dexter. Dexter has a funny yowl. Okay. Anyways, do you know if there are any more books in the works from the Feldmans or Jack Sanfelice? When are you writing a book? I don't think the Feldmans, I don't see it. I think Jesse did his revision of his book. I think that would be the end of that, because he's claiming the Silver Chief is the Dutchman, so it would seem kind of weird to keep writing the same book about the same thing. Ron did his autobiography. I think Ron kind of is retired. I don't know if Ron... I don't think Ron would. And then Jack Sanfelice is writing a book, but it's about... I think it's supposed to be... He's completing it. I think it's about his career as a police officer in law enforcement. So it has nothing to do with the Dutchman. I think the last book he did was his last Dutchman book. It was tough for him to get that one done, and I think he's done with that. So far as any of them, I mean, Josh, I don't think has any interest in writing a book. I don't know. You'd have to ask Josh. He probably would say, no, I don't. I have zero interest in that. How old is Woody? Dallas is saying 67. Wow. Does he look 67? Woody's got to be 76 or 77. So, I think he's just about the same age as Frank, or a little older. So, I think they're both about the same. It'd be great if you and Randy redid the series using the Bark notes. Well, that was the original idea, wasn't it? See how Hollywood took and accepted that, and they said, let's greenlight it. Yeah, let's sign you up. Okay, sign these papers. And me and Randy signed, and everything went, and they sent us all this stuff. And Randy's like, hey, what do you think of this? Did you get yours? And then we were comparing notes, talking on the phone every night, kind of wondering how this thing was going to work and who these guys were that they had on these lists for us. And then I show up to film, and there it was. That was it. Jax hasn't been around. So, hey folks. I thought you said hey Jax. Yeah, so I don't know. And Randy, I don't know if he could take the time out to do that. It would be cool. It'd be cool to do a revision. We actually filmed with Randy, so nobody will be surprised when that happens. But yes, we talked about getting out a little and filming a few things, kind of, and we talk a bit about that. But it would have been an entirely different show. I don't think Randy was much like me, wouldn't have went for the drama, and it would have made me more difficult to deal with over the drama and them trying to script it, because I would have had support. So that could have been a lot of it, knowing my stubbornness, is if you gave me that ally, I would really resist it. And they were able to get the others to do stuff that I wouldn't do. There were a few things that happened in the show that I was unhappy with, and that was, I said, no, you talk to someone else, not me, right in front of everyone. But I made sure everybody understood I won't do that. And there were people that put their hand up and did things, and I said that was a mistake. And I told them after the fact, I said, you can do it, but that's a mistake in my opinion, because you're doing what they want you to do. You're not doing what we're planning on doing. And it's two different things. But I also get, when we're filming and you realize it's the camera's rolling outside of a few hours, what was that? I'm trying to think of what day of the week it was. It was a Thursday or Friday. But one Thursday or Friday for about 3 hours, I was not filming. Other than that, I was filming every day. I was there. Eric Magnuson's in the car talking to this guy he knows about something geological. I'm outside the car watching them film him. Dalil's sitting there doing his thing with Jack Peskin. I'm standing off camera while he's filming it. Woody's doing an OTF. If I'm not doing an OTF, I'm standing there watching Woody do his OTF. So I was there for a lot of stuff. There were things I wasn't there for, but if I wasn't there while they were filming, I was filming something separate myself. So I was in there all the time, and I think when you look at their reaction, I know Dalil had that problem of kind of like, why am I even here? You know, because there was at a point, other than Frank saying, run over to that boulder, come back. A couple things. I mean, there was no Dalil. So you look at the show and say, well, he was in these pieces, but think if it's 12, 14 hours a day, and it's been 3 weeks, and those two little things are all you did for 5 or 10 minutes the whole time. Otherwise, you're just walking behind the other guys. And that was a problem. I made sure Jack Peskin, they dealt with Dalil on the Jack Peskin thing. There were a few things, but they kind of forgot Dalil's role at times. And that was hard because they forgot to incorporate people. They really tried to kind of let it go. And Frank and I were dominating stuff too much. Woody wasn't feeling well. And that's kind of how it felt. And there's funny inside stories. Hey, Jackson. But there's funny inside stories about all that. And those are for another day. Is my long-lost cousin Randy coming to the rendezvous? I'm doubting it, but it's always possible he could stop by. I think he works Fridays, he works late, and I don't know about Saturdays. So he's always invited when we talk, but I do not know. I know Larry Wright won't be coming in from Texas. Dallas Wright should be there. Randy Wright, I believe, may not. So, yes. That is Thomas holding up. This is Thomas. What? This is Thomas holding up. He was thinking all along, got caught up in the blood. What? This is Thomas holding up. He was thinking. I don't know. Yeah, okay. Just ignore that. Okay, well, you got to remember, I got to read the line like 5 times trying to see why I'm not understanding it, and if I'm reading it wrong, I don't go to the next line. I tried to be nice. A mini-series about James Bark and Sim Zealy searching would be interesting. It's just hard because they look at, let's face it, anything on television, no matter how good the story, how great the story, how great the idea is, what you try to deliver, there's someone who thinks they're smarter than you and knows what other people want. And I get some of the tricks of the trade. I understand them fully. I don't think they're necessary. having to say everyone's name constantly in the show. I think most people that are watching the show know the show. You're not worried about the confusion of random people that just stop at the show here and there of figuring out who people are. But that's a thing. That's why I say, "Hey, Frank," and we don't talk like normal in there. They make us go back and say, "Need to say Frank," and say his name, because why? Because anybody tuning in needs to know that's Frank. They need to know you're Wayne. They need to know that's Delisle. They need to know that's Eric, Magnus, and they need to know the name. You need to say the names. So it's a very awkward way of talking, because when you think about it, you don't talk that way to each other. You just turn and talk to the person, and yet we're having to say that that's one of their things, which was a big deal to them, is making sure that people would get the recognition of who the characters are, without having to run those lower thirds all the time of addressing the character. So it's a tough way to talk. It makes you change the way you approach things and all. So that's the problem of like Jim Bark and Sim Zeeley, and you could put something good together, and you could put something about research and talking about the compilation of the Bark notes and Sim Zeeley's book, and try to do something on that. Like one of those History Channel things. I just think they're going to go well, where's we need the death ray of Tesla. We need something big. We need something closure, and then if it's not there, they're going to look somewhere to create it, and that creates the problem. And then everybody's like a big sigh of oh man, what are we doing here? Beautiful guitars. What are the LPs? The Les Pauls? They're Les Paul 1, Les Paul 2, Les Paul 3, Les Paul 4 is in a case somewhere. There's a black one. I don't know where it's at. It's in a case, though. It used to be up here in front of me, and I moved it because I wasn't playing it very much. Yes, so the Lemon Burst is a 59 reissue Lemon Burst with the Burst Buckers pickups. If you notice the knobs and everything, that's it's the commemorative Peter Green version. So the pickups the one pickup's reversed. That spoon-fed approach is why I can't watch Oak Island. Well, but the problem is, the show's successful, so they think whatever they're doing is right, and that's it. And if you're getting a paycheck and you realize, I don't think they can do Oak Island without the Lagina brothers or anybody, because they own the property, but it turned into a cash cow for everybody and worked out, and there's nobody going to step outside of that. So what do you do? I mean, it is just what it is. Skinwalker, or Skinwalker. Okay, you're saying, okay, that or Skinwalker. But there goes the side-by-sides. A lot of people pulling out boats and side-by-sides today and revving them up, because you know why? It's supposed to be 20 degrees cooler next weekend, so everybody's starting to suddenly get excited about being able to go out. Yeah, Skinwalker Ranch is much better done, at least. It doesn't feel as scripted. But it's just a problem, because they have advertising. It's based not on viewership, but advertising. And that's based on the advertising dollars that come in. And because of that, they're going to go with, well, this is what works for us. I learned a lot. I took and really sat down with every person I've worked with on television. I've said, this is what I kind of learned. Why do you do this? Why do you do that? And what's your take on this? How long you been doing it? Blah, 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 blah. What other shows have you worked? I've really tried to have what's the marketing plan on this? Who's doing the marketing plan? Who's working the production line? Oh, come on over. I want to talk to you. Who's handling the money, the cash money for if anybody has expenditures? Oh, I want to talk to you and ask you some questions. I tried to learn inside and out the roles and stuff, and why things happen the way they do on television and in scripts, why there's such a lack of ability to walk in and say, I know my shit, let's do it this way, help me, and let's make a great show. That is not the way it works. That's not the way it's ever going to work. Even if you have the money, they're going to want to come in and change. You have to remember, there were notebooks this thick, this thick of pages just for me. And we're in the last couple of days of filming, and I'm just doing pickup stuff. And each notebook, there's one from Go Lucky, the production company. There's one from History Channel, which is A&E. A&E and History Channel sent us. And there's another one from A&E and the people in A&E. So there's these 3 notebooks, and they're repetitive of some of this. So we were going through trying to find out what they were all wanting done, the same thing, and then pulling pages out that we didn't have to do, because there was no way I was going to do like 800-900 pages of verbiage in just a couple days, because you literally have to read it to me. I have to remember it, because it was things about correcting things. Well, this doesn't make sense. Can you say it this way? And they can't just be a sentence. It has to be a paragraph. And it's like, holy crap, I'm not an actor. So now I'm sitting there and I'm trying to think, okay, say it to me like 3-4 times, and then I get the gist of it, and then I say it, and we try to figure out. There's just no way to do it. They had so much of the verbiage, and I've watched other shows. They had so much language they wanted me to speak. There's no way. No other shows had that much language in some of these things. There was times I looked down, they had 2 paragraphs of lines, and I'm like, can we switch camera angles and let me do 2 sentences at a time, because there's no way I can memorize this, because we have to move on to the next thing. I don't have time to sit and look at it. I just have to be told it and then stand there, look in the camera, and do it, because they're trying to get me to paraphrase what I said before to make something more clear. But I'm trying to tell history, so they want more clarity in the history. So it's not that it's wrong for me to say it, and then they don't even use it. So the stress level, as you can imagine, my head's popping out my head. My brains were popping. I don't think I could watch another rocket launch or hear about UAPs. It's a UAP. They get real excited. 3-day weekend. The Muddy Pit, Oak Island. See if you can get Josh Gates to research the LDM. Nah, Josh has had some issues, I guess. I don't know. Someone told me that Josh had some hard times or something. I don't know. He's busy, though. He's got the different expedition shows. There's 2 or 3 different things he does. So I don't think he's someone you can catch up to. I don't know if he does any conferences or speaking engagements or anything like that. So we got to be getting down to the end. I'll look here in a second. I know it's getting close to shutting down for pizza. There you go. Do you think they will ever do the firewall? No, because the Forestry Service. I will bring this up after this year, the Rendezvous 20th anniversary. I want to talk to them about what the biggest problem is. The firefall used to be outside the wilderness area. Okay? So the firefall was outside the wilderness area. John McCain and all the wonderful people in Congress didn't do us any favors and changed that boundary line and brought it out so the ledge and everything was inside the wilderness area, which took away that, which gave the Forestry Service the right to step and say no more. That was the end. So that was kind of like what happened. It would take someone, and you got to remember, the Dons of Arizona, one of their members at one time ran for Congress and became a senator, a guy named Barry Goldwater. They had prominent people in government to help them navigate that stuff. By 2000, they didn't have those people in place, and they were run over. And basically it said, you know what, you can't do that no more. We move that, and that's the end of it. The prep for fire, that was... I couldn't even imagine being able to do it now, because the Dons are not the Dons of old. All right, we're at time, and tonight is Chinese, by the way. So it's not pizza, it's Chinese tonight. So I'm going Chinese. So I will be doing my Chinese food here within the hour. But thank you, everybody, for coming in. Sorry to Sky Cloud for the music. We will cut back a little. Try to make sure we keep it to one song at the early opening, which usually aren't there, so that'll work. We'll keep it to more of this stuff. It'll probably be Rendezvous Talk again. I don't know what we'll be doing the Friday before the Rendezvous. We'll probably put something up. We won't be live because of the buffering and the issues out there. I will be at the Don's camp. So because of that, there won't be that. Somebody can hold the phone up at me and I can go, hey, everybody, and that'll be it. Hey, Wayne, have a Barry Goldwater sticker from his campaign president way before I was born. My grandmother campaigner. Yeah, he was a Don's member, and then I actually have 8x10s of when he was running. Was it in the House or what? When he first started getting into politics, the Dons in their uniforms would travel around Arizona with him, helping get him elected and put up banners and stuff. So trust me on that. There was a lot going on there. Stuff, stickers, buttons, they all go away to Nixon and Bush. That's very cool. Thank you for a great job. Or great. Have a great weekend. Play that damn guitar. I'll be playing tonight. Good night, all. If you want the Barry Goldwater sticker, I don't have a P.O. box, but we'll figure something out. My dad voted for Goldwater in '64. Well, there you go. I voted for Barry Goldwater, yeah, because he was still in office when I could vote. Man, I'm old. I didn't vote for him for president. I'm not that old. I was a baby then. But anyhow, thank you everybody for joining us. Hope everybody had a good time. I know it wasn't as much treasure hunting and Dutch hunting and stuff. Sometimes it takes its leaps and bounds and stuff. I apologize to all the fans of B-52s, Talking Heads, Velvet Underground, and Lou Reed for not being on their bandwagons. But hey, it is what it is. And if you look at all, there's several shelves of CDs like that, and there's a whole plethora of thousands of vinyl record albums and all the stuff that I have. There's just eventually going to be stuff that just doesn't move your needle anywhere. It just stays flat. And that's what, I just shared some of that. And I guess in the end, don't really care because I think everybody has their thing. So, but I will be playing the guitar. I will be playing the guitar later tonight because I do that daily because it's just fun. I always recommend anybody, if you can't play the guitar, you don't have any aptitude for it, just go play guitar. 24th Street in Lincoln, that's by the Wrigley Mansion. So, okay, I'll go down there. Next time I'm working in that area, I'll start looking for the buried loot from Charles Keating and Barry Goldwater and the Wrigley Mansion. There we go. Anyhow, that being said and done, hope everybody enjoys our spooky story. Spooky! Coming up Monday. We got 3 more of those for the month. And they're all kind of finished, wrapped up, and done. Like I said, next Friday we will be live, but the Friday after that, I do not know what we will be doing. There will be something as a placeholder for that. So the people that cannot make the rendezvous can have something there for that. So have a good night, everybody. The people that didn't make it and are not showing up on my list, when you come and watch us later, hey, welcome. It was great seeing you, and great while you did not make it. No problem. That's why we record it and release it later. So hope everybody has a great weekend. I hope the weather, I hope if you're in the hurricane area you weren't affected, or if you were, you got the help you needed. I hope everywhere else in the Southwest it's cooling down for you like it's starting to here. Hope everybody's well. Enjoy things. Catch Chasing Legends on Monday. We'll see you back next Friday. Until then, I gotta get the mouse because I don't even have anything ready to stop streaming. You think I'd learn to be smooth on this stuff. But everybody have a great night.